Hi guys, right, so I've just got into collecting Pokemon cards, and I've been looking at grading cards and stuff like that, and I've watched a few YouTube videos on how to grade cards, and because I've got a business mindset, I thought I'm into Pokemon anyway because I'm a loser, 32-year-old loser that likes Pokemon cards. I thought to myself, can I turn something like this into a business? So I went out looking for cards to see what the cards go for when they're graded and when they're not graded. So what I'm going to do on this video is I've only watched YouTube videos before of how to grade a Pokemon card. I've never graded a Pokemon card. I've never gone to PSA to grade a Pokemon card. I've never had one return, nothing like that. I am brand new at this. So the only way to figure it out was through YouTube. Now I'm going to grade the cards that are in front of me of what I think they are. I'm going to send them off to PSA. Now we do have a competition, right? Now these are the cards that I've got. Look at these little beauties. Venusaur there, what a bad boy. These are all the cards that I've got and I'm going to grade for you today, yeah? And then I'm going to send them off to PSA. And when they come back, we'll see if I'm correct or I'm not correct. I need advice as well, guys. So if anybody's good at grading, just put in the comments what you think it is, see if I am correct or not, yeah? The competition that we're going to do is to enter the competition, you need to like this video, you need to share this video, and also you need to subscribe to the channel, and also you need to correct every single grade of these Pokemon cards correctly. So if you predict the right grade when they come back, you need to like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and you also need to pick one of the you need to pick every single card grade correctly. If you do that, you're going to be put in a prize draw, and the prize is you get to pick one of these cards. When it comes back graded, you get to pick which one you want to keep yourself, and that'll be sent out to you completely free of charge, guys, yeah? So I'm going to go over that again. Like the video, get that done now. Give it a like so it's done, right? Next thing you need to do is share the video. Give it a share. After you've shared the video, you have to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And then you have to predict every single grade of the card correctly. So you need to put the grade of each card in the comments. As soon as these cards come back, I'm going to do another video. As soon as the next video gets released with each Pokemon card fully graded on the video, that's when you know the competition ends. So anybody that takes part after that, obviously you won't win anything because it's already been won. So I'm going to start off with this little beauty, the Dark Machoke. Now, just a reminder, guys, as well to you, don't play with your Pokemon cards. I mean, I've been playing with these for ages. I've got orange on me, but it's not career out. I've been eating loads of oranges today. Had about bloody 12 of them or something. Right. Don't play with your Pokemon cards because it just causes damage. I've played with mine because I'm a loser and I've just got them. By playing with them, I mean keep looking at them all the time. Also, I'm on the third take of this video, to be fair, so there you go. So I've had them out quite a bit today. But this card is an absolute perfect example, if you ask me, of a Pokemon card. So it's graded based on 4 things. So it's surface, centering, sides and corners. They're the 4 things that it's graded on. Now look at this card. There's absolutely nothing whatsoever. Still perfect. Pack fresh card. The cornering, the centering, sorry, is absolutely perfect. I couldn't change anything on this card, to be honest with you. I'm seeing an absolute perfect card here. I'm going to turn to the back to have a look at the edges. And there's absolutely nothing on the edges apart from there's a tiniest bit of whitening there. I did that myself, getting the card inside and out. To be honest with you, based off this, guys, this card, I predict this card to be, maybe because of the whitening at the back a little bit, if you can see it there at the top. It might be harsh and give it a 9, but it's between a 10 and a 9, this card. Between a 10 and a 9. Do I see? I'm having a closer look at it now. What do I reckon this card's going to be? I can't see why it's not going to be a 10, to be honest with you, but because of the little bit of damage, I don't know how funny they are on 10s. I've been told two things on a 10. I've been told they allow one white speck on the back, but I can see two little ones next to each other here. I'm going to go with 9, but if it's a 10, it's not going to surprise me. Now, guys, I paid for this Pokemon card, believe it or not. I paid £5 for this Pokemon card. I've had a look online what they're selling for. So you can get 10 cards graded with PSA as long as they're under £500 or £200, but I think it's 5. As long as they're under £500, you can get minimum 10 cards. You can get them for £15 each graded. Now, in total, to get this graded, and the cost for the card is £5 for the card, which is an absolute bargain, and then we've got £15 for the grading. The grading is going to come back, in my opinion, as at least a 9. I'm saying 9 on this, guy, so that's my decision on this. It's going to be a PSA 9. It sells, PSA 9 sells for 40 quid, PSA 10 sells for 90 quid. That means it cost me 20 quid, so I'll make between £20 and £70 profit with this card. How amazing is that as a hobby? So there we go, that's that one. I'm going to move on to the Dark Weezing. What a beautiful card this is as well, guys. It is actually bent, this card. To unbend a card, what you need to do is you need to put it in a book, closed, and you need to put pressure and weight on the book and leave it for 24 hours, and your cards will actually straighten themselves out if they become bent like this one. I have heard if you send a bent card to PSA, they will give you under a 5. That's what I've heard. Now, first of all, I need to check the surface of the card. There is some very, very minor scratches. I'm not sure if you can see. They're that minor on the hollow. You can see them here. I'm not sure that they'll get picked up, because apparently they only look at a card for about a minute, that's all. This card does need a little bit of cleaning, but it is fine. The centering on this card as well is really nice, to be fair. Centering's beautiful. Right, okay, I'm going to move on to the back. Bearing in mind, this card's going to be straight when it goes to him, guys. So as it stands, obviously it'll be a lower score, but I am going to get this straight before it comes back. There is bits of whitening on the sides here. Nothing on that corner, so I just caught it with my finger right there. That's how easy it is. I can see. No, that's not a crease. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to give this an 8. That's my prediction on this card, an 8. Right, so Dark Weezing. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking a bit closer. I'm going to go 7 to be on the safe side, yeah? But if it does an 8, it's not going to surprise me, because it is a really nice card, this. But I'm going to go 7. I paid for this card, absolute bargain, £8. It's going to cost 15 to send it off. That'll stand me at £23. On a PSA 7, it's £35. On a PSA 8, it's £50. I believe it's going to be a 7, but it won't surprise me if it was an 8. That means I'm going to make between £12 and £27 profit on this card. Between £12 and £27 profit on this card. Make sure you buy correctly, guys, because raw cards actually go, obviously, cheaper than cards that, you know, have been sent off for grading. So just always check with your cards how much they cost you and how much it's going to cost you to grade them, and can you make a profit. If the answer to them questions are yes, then I'd go for it. One thing you need to do is you need to learn the grading process. Now, I've done it by watching YouTube videos. I've learned the grading process by watching YouTube videos. If you do the same, the idea behind it, of what I've figured out, is if, let's say for example, the card cost me £30, I think it's a PSA 8 or 9. If I can get £30 for the card if it's a PSA 7, then I can't really lose if I get my money back. So if it does what I say I think it's going to do, I'm going to make a profit. If it does better than what I think it's going to do, I'm going to make even more money. And if it does worse than what I think it's going to do, I'm going to at least get my money back. That's exactly where you want to be with these cards. Now look at this bad boy. What an example. So I'm going to go off surface. On the surface of it, there's no damage, but I've got a tiny little dot there. Don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's near where the light is on the hollow now. There's a tiny dot there. I'm just hoping that's not going to be picked up. Now, the centering on this card is pretty good, I'd say. Not the best in the world, but it's pretty damn good. Have a look at the back of the card. Oh, here we go. So we've got whitening here, the corners, tiniest touch here. Other than that, I think it's pretty solid. Centering on the back's not perfect, but it's not too bad. The back's more lenient than the front. Centering on this card isn't too bad. I'm going to say that this can do, it's between an 8 and a 9. Best it's going to do is a 9. It's definitely not doing a 7. If this is doing a 7, then I quit before I even start. I reckon it's probably going to do an 8 just because of the centering on the card. And it has got a little bit of damage on the back, which is still could possibly get a 9. But I'm just not sure about the centering. If the centering is good enough, then we'll get an 8. But I'm going to say this, a 9. I'm going to say that this card, guys, is an 8. So we've got the Dark Machoke at a 9, the Wheezing at 7, and this an 8. That's where I'm going, guys. Remember, you've got to pick correctly. If you pick all of them correctly, you're in a chance to win one of these bad boys that we're going through right now, right? Now, your next card is your Machamp First Edition. Now, I believe they only ever did a First Edition in this card. That's what I believe. That's what I've been told. This is the First Edition version that's gone out. Very popular card. I do believe as well, a little fact for you, if it is true or not, I'm not too sure. So let me know if I'm wrong. But I think this was the most printed First Edition shiny, if I am correctly. There was more printed of this card than any other First Edition shiny. So just having a quick glance over at this card. There's a few scratches on the hollow there, guys. If you've noticed the little scratches, nothing too serious, but there's a few. Everything else on this card on the front side seems okay though, guys, to be fair. It seems in really good condition. Just have a quick look at the centering. Bloody hell, that centering, it does my head in. The centering's slightly off as well. Nothing major, but it's thinner on this side than it is on this side. A bit thinner on the top than it is at the bottom. So that'll definitely not get in a 10 for that reason. We'll look at the back, see what damage we've got. Right, I've got a couple of bits of spots of whitening on that side. Almost looks like there's a imprint a little bit there on the corner, but it's actually not. Just looks like it a little bit, so I don't know how that I'd grade. All in all, it's a fairly solid card, this. It's got to be between a 7 and an 8 all day long. I'm going to go with 8 on this card. I don't know because of this, actually. But everything's pretty nice on the card, only a bit of damage. Let me just double check what I think about this. It's just the centering there. If that centering was a bit cleaner. Well, if it'd be a bit cleaner, it'd be a bloody PSA 10, wouldn't it? So, and we've got the scratches as well on it. Bit of scratching. This is really tough. Really tough, guys. I'm going to go with a 7. Is it 7? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to... God, it's a tough one, this. Just look at the back one more time. The back's in really good nick as well. Apart from that little nip at the top there, if anyone can see it, it's like tiniest little bit. A few scratches on the front, but nothing major. centering. Say 60-40 for it to be an 8. So it's 60-40. Anything over 60-40, it's a 7. I'm going to go PSA 8. We're going to go PSA 8 on it. I'm going to be generous this time. I'm normally harsh. When in doubt, go one down. But I'm going one up. PSA 8. Can't really see anything else up with it. It's probably going to be a 7. I'm leaning... Yeah, I'm going to go PSA 8 though, guys, yeah? I'll go 8 on this one. 8 or 7. Final chance before I put it down. 8 or 7. I'm going 7 just because of this. Sorry, I'm going 7. Right, so I paid for this card quite a lot of money, to be fair. I paid £21 for this card. It's going to cost £15 to get it graded. If it does a PSA 7, it's going to come. We can sell it for 60 quid. If it's a PSA 8, it'll be £80. That means there's a profit between £24 and £44 on this one card. That's amazing, guys, for a bit of spare, for a hobby that you want to try and turn into making a little bit of money from. Remember as well, guys, if you enjoy buying cards, it depends what you're doing if you're in it to collect it, but I enjoy buying things. If you can buy and sell and use that money to buy more, and you can kind of build up, you can build your collection like that, rather than working your bollocks off, sorry for swearing, working your ass off, saving up all that money, spending it all on Pokemon cards, going without, keeping hold of these Pokemon cards. If you can make a profit on the way, you can work your normal job, you'll be able to just increase your collection at all times. Keep buying, keep selling, keep grading. Choose that as your little side hustle. If you enjoy Pokemon cards anyway, you've got absolutely nothing to lose, and you'll be able to build yourself even more Pokemon cards off the back of doing that. You'd actually get more cards by doing that than keeping hold of your cards and not selling them, unless you've got loads of money, like. Right, Venusaur. This is an absolute beauty, guys. If you win this competition, I know you're coming from a Venusaur, and that's probably going to really piss me off, but I do exactly the same, so don't worry about that. Make sure you enter, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and get every single one of these right, and you're in to win it. I'm not very popular because I'm an absolute loser anyway, guys, so probably one person will enter it and win the competition anyway. So I'm having a look on the surface of this. There's a few scratches on the front, if you can see them, so that's definitely going to have some effect. There's a little bit of damage on the top corner there as well. That's on the front of the card, which isn't going to help anybody. The centering on this card isn't too bad, to be honest with you. Got a little bit on this side as well, but the centering's fairly good on this card. Let's get turned to the back. Right, at the back we've got a bit of damage on that corner, bits on the top. The bottom's a bit more damaged, you can see, with the whitening on the bottom. All in all, though, it's not a bad card. I mean, it's definitely not a PSA 5. Definitely not a PSA 5. I'm going to go with PSA 6 on this. I reckon it could possibly do a 7 as well. If we're lucky, it'll do a 7. It's not doing a 5. It's a PSA 6, in my opinion. PSA 6. Now, I got this card on an absolute steal. Paid £30 for this card. Absolute beautiful card for £30. It's going to cost me $15 to get it graded, so it's going to stand me at £45. £65 for a PSA 6 it's selling for, and £110 PSA 7, so there's a massive difference there. This will leave me a profit of £20 to £65, depending on if it's 6 or 7, but it's definitely not 4. I'm going to ring someone at PSA and give him a load of shit if it comes out back as a 5. Sorry, not a 4. It's not going to be any less than that. But that's a beauty of a card, that, guys. So you know now, yeah. If this comes back as a 7, it's worth £110. So if you're in the competition, no doubt you're going to pick that bad boy. Moving on now to the Squirtle. This is actually my favourite card, guys, the Squirtle. Now, this is a shadowless Squirtle, and I didn't know this. When they were talking about shadowless Pokemon cards, I thought the Pokemon itself had a shadow, but it's actually not. If you look at the side of the Pokemon, where the Pokemon is, see that shadow there? There's like a shadow underneath it. There, it's got no shadow. That's where the shadowless is. So that's a shadow, that's a shadowless. Shadowless are more valuable than shadows. Now, I've picked this little bad boy up for an absolute steal. I actually spent £7 on this Pokemon card. £7. Absolute steal of a steal. But it is my favourite Pokemon card as well, this is the Squirtle. Let's have a quick look at the card. So look at the condition of the card. Absolute mint. But there's a problem with this card if you've not spotted it already. The centering. The centering's really bad on this card. Really quite bad. Probably my worst card that I've got for centering that I'm sending off. It is an absolute beauty, this card, and it only cost me £7, so you can't argue with that. There is bits of damage on the back as well, a little bit of whitening there, a little bit at the top, a bit on the side. Every major little tiny bit on the bottom, but all in all, it's a really good card. Really nice card. Now, little bits of whitening at the back, but still nothing bad. Only little bits. Nothing serious. It's definitely not a 6, is it? Let's have it out there. So we'll dismiss the 6. Definitely not going to be a 9 because of the centering. Bit too much damage on the back for a 9. Between a 7 and an 8, but I'm going to go 7 on this card, yeah? The cost of this card with sending it off to PSA is £22. It sells at PSA 7 for 50, and at PSA 8 it sells for £70. So that's £28 to £48 profit off a card I paid £7 for. Absolute bargain, and by far it's my favourite card. So if you pick that card, you're going to upset me, to be honest with you. That one I'm probably going to keep. That's one of them you don't sell. Well, I don't anyway, because I like it. I'm probably not going to sell any of them, guys. I love them too much, but we'll see what takes me. If anybody's up to making any offers when they come back in as well, I'll give you a decent price. If you're a subscriber, get bloody 10% off, mate. It's all right, isn't it? Right, so Doo-doo. Is that a doo-doo? I know Dugtrio is the free one, but doo-doo. I can't read, guys. I'm dyslexic, so I don't know what that says. Is it doo-doo or something? Alright, let's have a look at this card, yeah? So, right, on the surface, it's an absolute beauty. Centering's perfect, and there's not a mark on it. No dints, no scratches, no nothing. And the centering is absolutely bang on. Look at that, beautiful. Turn it around, got anything on the back? Any whitening? Little tiniest bit here at the bottom, but that's it. In the corners have like a little white thing, but rather than it being damaged, I think that's just where the cards have been cut, to be fair. This is probably the best card I have in terms of example, or one of them. Because a bit of damage at the back and the corners, I'm going to say it's between... I'm going to say it's going to be a 9. I am going to say this is a 9. If this is a 9, I don't know. If this isn't a 9, I don't know what is a 9. That's definitely at least a 9. If it got a 10, I wouldn't be surprised. If it was an 8, I'd be surprised at an 8. It's between a 9 and a 10. Got to be between a 9 and a 10. Right, so that's my prediction on this, is a 9. PSA 9. Right, believe it or not, guys, this card cost me £1. I paid £1 for this card. It's going to cost me 15 quid to get it sent off. It actually sells between 32 and 53 pound, I've seen. So I'd make a profit of 16 £16, or a maximum of like £37 profit on a card I paid £1 for. How crazy is that? All about condition, these cards, guys. All about condition. So we're on to the Butterfree now, first edition. I believe this is the Jungle set, that's why it's got that there. Let's have a look at our Butterfree. Got got to be delicate, but I've got little tiny girl hands, so I can be a bit more delicate than probably most of the lads out there. Sugar man. Let me get this out, it's not coming. Go on. There we are. I've damaged it. So what I mean, just getting it by getting these cards out, you can damage them, man. Look how nice they are as well. Look at that for an example of a card. Alright, let's have a look at the surface on the front. Absolutely no problems on the surface. What about the centering? Centering's good. No problems on the front of this card. Let's see if we've got any surprises at the back. Right, bit of whitening at the bottom there, if you can see. And whitening on the corners as well at the top. Bit of whitening on this one at the top here. Bit of whitening at the bottom. It's going to be an 8 or a 9, this card. 8 or a 9, definitely. I'm going to go with 8 though. If it's a 9, I'll be happy, but I'm going with 8. It's going to be a PSA 8, this card. PSA 8. Alright, so this little beauty, first edition. I actually paid for this £5. Paid £5 for this card. It's going to cost me £15 to send it off. And if it's a PSA 8, I'll be able to sell it for around £40. And if it's a PSA 9, I'd be able to sell it for around £70. It's definitely not a 7, this card, unless I'm blind or something. That'll leave a profit of between £20 and £50 profit on this, guys. Between £20 and £50. Yeah, between £20 and £50 profit getting. Last of all, on the cards, Clefable, first edition, Jungle. I think the Jungle were 1999 as well. So you've got the base sets and the Jungle kind of came out at the same time. But I will double check on the bottom of the card because it will tell us. Yep, 1999 if you can see on the bottom there, guys, 1999. So let's have a look at surface. The surface is absolutely banging. And then we're going to look at the centering. I'm going to look at the centering of the card, and it's pretty much perfect, guys. Oh, I've noticed there's a bit of a thing at the top there, the front. Probably shows more on the back. Yep. Whitening in that corner, a bit of whitening in that corner, whitening around, not too much but a little bit, but it's definitely going to affect it. This card, centering's good, just based off the back it's going to be a 7 or an 8, but I think they're going to give me a 7 on this card, so I'm going to put this down as a 7, but it could quite easily be an 8. I won't be surprised if it come back as 8. It depends who's grading your card. I do say if they've had a good day or a bad day. However, guys, I've looked online and I can't find this card sold anywhere. So if anyone can help me out with the value of it, I reckon it's going to be a PSA 7 or an 8. You'll see the shiny version of this card. They did a shiny version. That's about a lot. But this actual card, first edition, non-shadow, I've not been able to find this sold, so I can't really tell you what it's going to go for. I'm hoping it's a good thing, not a bad thing. There you go, guys. Remember the competition, yeah? So you need to share the video, you need to like the video, you need to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And you need to guess correctly every single PSA that I've just shown you. If you're not interested in entering the competition, but you want to give me some advice, apart from stop doing YouTube, because I can give myself that advice. Just about grading of the cards. You see these little beauties here? Unopened 25-year-old pack of Pokemon cards, man. It's absolutely crazy. Beautiful. Can't wait to open these one day. But right now, they're not being opened, they're being saved. They've not been opened yet. I'm in no rush to open them, guys. But one day we'll do a video of them opening, so make sure you subscribe just to see what's inside these two bad boys. Both heavy packs. Value of these is up to £900 I've seen them sell for per pack. Alright guys, have a good one. Take care. Goodbye for now.